Hello, SeptaSOAREous.
I'm Septa.
I'm Soar, and this is us. And today we'll be checking out Wings short film number 3 and number 4.
Yes. So that's Stigma and First Love. And we're continuing on that BU journey. We want to get through the short films so we can get to Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yes.
And so far, we really like the short films.
Yeah, they're really cool.
They're super artistic, and I like the focus on each individual character. And I'm just kind of loving it.
Yeah, it seems like each one's kind of hyper-focused on like different aspects of like personalities and feelings and stuff like that.
And like struggles.
Right. So I'm interested to see what these two are going to be about.
Yeah, me too.
It was the first fissure in the columns that had upheld my childhood, which every individual must destroy before he can become himself. Such fissure and rents grow together again, heal and are forgotten. But in the most secret recesses, they continue to live and bleed.
What a hooligan.
V.
That's cool.
Dang it.
그때 나한테 왜 그랬어? I'm sorry, my sister. 숨겨도 감춰도 지워지지 않아.
Oh my goodness.
Please dry my eyes. 내 죄를 비춰줘.
Oh my gosh.
No, he doesn't have the puppy anymore.
전화 한 통만 하게 해주세요.
Okay. So this one is like the domestic abuse
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, it continued on because he was talking to the detective and such.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're questioning about what happened and all that, detective-y stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like he was just kind of being a hooligan and doing some vandalism and acting out in general, which would make sense with everything that happened. I feel like there'd always be that like part of you that's like, I just kind of want to get caught at this point.
Yeah. Well,
Like
and
rationally you want to run, but then you also want to get caught, and for that anticipation of getting caught to be over.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm ready for the consequences. know they're going to suck, but
Mm-hmm.
like just kind of ready for it.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like his sister was like the innocent, cute little puppy. Or maybe that was him before all that happened. He was protecting his sister, which is why he stabbed his dad or stepdad or whoever it was. And so I wasn't sure if like the cute, innocent little white puppy was supposed to be her or if that was his innocence that he lost.
I would assume that it was his innocence that he lost. Because
Yeah.
he was the one getting locked up and everything like that. So
That's true.
I feel like it was his innocence getting lost. In my opinion, being stuck in a situation that you don't know how to get out of, and you just do anything possible to get out of it, whether it be a good or a bad thing. And sometimes you're forced to lose that innocence. And Arm, he keeps talking about your childhood, and like he was talking about how like, you know, it was the first crack in the pillar and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's the transition from childhood to adulthood.
Yeah.
And losing all your childhood innocence and some of the things that you have to go through emotionally and like mentally and stuff to kind of get there. And once you are there, it's really hard to hold on to that happiness that you still had, that you had, like the blissful happiness as like a child and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's really weird that we're talking about this right now because just the other day I was thinking about how when you're young, everything is black and white, good and evil. But then as you get older, you start to fill in the gray in the middle until eventually it's almost all gray. It's all gray area.
Yeah.
There's no like hard line, black and white, good and bad. There's always like this weird mixture
There's so
of
much
everything.
to like everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what it just made me think of.
Right.
When you were digging into that. Yeah,
And,
I like that interpretation.
And that's how I feel like just going from 1 to 3, it just seems that's kind of the route it's going.
Yeah.
And his kids, he was talking about like school and growing and like his parents, and now it's about these pillars that are cracking and then everything that they're going through. And I'm like, yeah, it seems like the loss of innocence.
And then I think also what I noticed in this was like a loss of trust in adults.
Yeah. And like that does eventually happen, I guess, right? Because like when you're a kid, adults know everything and they're the authoritative figure that you follow, but eventually you become an adult and like naturally you lose trust in people and you learn not to trust everybody. So eventually you're going to not trust adults anymore, especially when you become one.
Yeah, I just saw like defiance and almost like a disgust in his eyes as he looked away from the detective as the detective reminded him of his dad. Yeah. He was just drinking water, but it still made him think back to his dad or stepdad drinking alcohol and before he got abusive. Mm-hmm. That's a really heavy one, and I think that they executed it well.
They did really well with that.
So now for number 4, First Love.
There are numerous ways in which God can make us lonely and lead us back to ourselves. This was the way He dealt with me at that time.
These sets are really cool.
Ooh, is that the piano? It's the whistle from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Those strings, though.
So his combined with
Jimin's. Yeah.
And Jimin was taking bites of the apple, and then his looked like piano keys, and then it became tire treads. So were they friends and they got in a car accident?
So is like Jimin, is he in like a hospital?
He's in a coma.
Was he the one in the car that got into the accident, you know? Yeah. Is he in a coma?
Maybe. I'm getting those feelings.
Mm-hmm. And of course the piano on fire again. Which one had that? Was it the first one?
First two.
First two both had it, so that's linking those together. These did not have that.
No. And then like the focus on the music, this one's called First Love. So I think it's focusing on falling in love with music. Mm-hmm. But then I think that it was kind of showing the positives and the negatives of that, is that it is sometimes a lonely art, especially when you have a song in your head or in your heart that you can't figure out how to make come alive. It's one of the most frustrating feelings in the world.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like that's what was happening when he kept hearing it, but he couldn't quite catch it.
Couldn't quite figure it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me that feeling, and then also just the feeling of burnout.
Yeah.
Burning out. Like, you put so much into it for so long, and then eventually you just get tired of it. Like, it's not like you never want to create ever again, but you
need a minute.
Yeah, you just like need a break from it. And then once you don't have that anymore, what do you have? Especially when you put everything into it. Because I was talking about being lonely and stuff like you're saying. And like, sometimes creating music is a way to not feel alone anymore.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you share it with an audience who also feels what you feel.
Yeah.
That's a way to pull everybody in so you don't feel lonely anymore.
Yeah.
But you do have to sacrifice things usually to get to the point where you can share it with that many people.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice a lot. So then it winds up being almost like that thing that you love is also your enemy. It's one of those.
Yeah, because you could just keep creating art, but then that's neglecting friends and family and stuff, which can make you feel lonely. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, oh, well, let me focus more on friends and family, and then you're missing your art.
Yes.
You want to go back to
the
that.
Release from it. And then at the beginning, he broke in to get to the piano. Trying to think if there was any like symbolism there. Like he had to go against what was expected of him in order to pursue that music in the first place. But then I also want to focus on like the vehicle part, the car accident. Maybe
if Jimin was in it, then it could resemble like an unexpected way that they found each other to create art. In my mind, like he was lonely trying to do that, and then car accident. He's like, whoa, what the heck? And then if it is Jimin, like out of nowhere, just boom.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah. Or maybe Suga was the one driving and then Jimin's the one that got hurt, which is why he always lights things on fire, because he feels like he destroys everything he loves.
Yeah, maybe.
Like the music and the piano and his friend. Those are like the feelings and thoughts that I get from it. I'm sure there's lots of different interpretations. You guys fill us in the comments, and please tell us what's written in the videos.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't read Korean, but I really like it. We're staying on that like artistic path that all of the short films have been so far, and it is sticking true to telling the stories. And I like how this one interwove Suga and Jimin. Just not quite certain that what we think is right. I don't know, but that's part of the fun.
If you made this far, please share, like, and subscribe, maybe ring that bell. We have a BTS playlist. You want to check that out. We also react to live BTS content over on our Patreon for our top tier patrons. If you want to check that out, and we have a new channel called SeptaSOAREous. The link is in the description. If you want to check that out. Until next time.
Please remember that we love you.
Stay safe and healthy. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye, SeptaSOAREous.
Bye.